Hi, you're watching Kristen Keeps It Real with me, Kristen Henry King, and I'm going to tell you 5 ways that you can get an agent right now, even during COVID times. So let's get after it. The first and most obvious way to find an agent is to simply direct submit. You can do this by doing a Google search. You can go on backstage.com where they have a list of agents in alphabetical order, or you can do my personal favorite, IMDb Pro, and see all of the casting directors that are in your area from 1 to 500 and even more. In fact, you can see all the agents in the world and where they rank. If you're gonna go this path of direct submitting, just make sure that you do your research and don't just throw a bunch of headshots with a resume at all of these agents and just expect something to stick. I know from experience, because when I moved from New York to LA, that is what I did. I basically did a rote letter, I changed the name, and I must have sent it out to 45, 50 agents, snail mail with my headshot and resume, and I got one person write me back. Although I don't recommend it, I did get an agent that way. And it was not my favorite agent, as I rarely went out. And I stayed with them for a lot longer than I should have because I felt like I didn't have enough credits or the clout to be able to say, "You're fired." But in the end, I had to say that. And I moved on to bigger and better. And I learned a little bit more along the way, which brings us to number 2. The second way, and one of my favorite ways to get an agent, is through a referral. You can do this through a casting director, through an actor who also is represented by the agent that you want, or a manager, a manager to refer you to an agent if you have one, and a lawyer can refer you. Anyone who is in the field, maybe you even did like a movie and a director, like a short film or something like that, and the director can then refer you to an agent. But having been on the other side of the person referring someone to, just make sure that you have your she together before you ask someone to refer you, and also be a professional so that it doesn't make the person who referred you look bad, and it doesn't make the agent look bad or make the agent feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to trust them on anybody else that they refer me to. And that leads us to 3. So the third way that you can get an agent is by putting yourself out there. I mean by performing, creating content, and getting a lot of attention, okay? So if you start following some casting directors and they put out open calls, do them, okay? Do them. I know for a fact that Jason Kennedy, casting director of NCIS LA and NCIS if you don't know, he did an open call earlier this year when we had the quarantine, and he went through people's tapes and he just started putting stuff on his page like, hey, these people are really good, somebody needs to sign them. And next thing you know, on his page, he's got such and such signed with blah-de-blah today, and such signed with blah-de-blah today. So you want to make yourself have a lot of attention and garner this recognition in order for someone to be willing to be like, put their reputation on the line to say, you need to represent this. I mean, I don't know if you know who Chloe Fineman is. You should, because she's, you know, on SNL now. But I've been following her for a while now, and she started out just doing a bunch of awesome like videos of her doing impressions and just really just putting herself out there and not being afraid, not caring what people think.
Okay, it is week 100,000,007 of quarantine, but I am so excited. I have good news. I am
She received so much recognition, and she signed with an agent that's like really awesome, and now she's on SNL. So my point is, perform, act, get recognition, and get like the leverage that you can be found by somebody, okay? True story, I booked my first national commercial via Craigslist with the Disney Massey brothers. I don't know if you know them, but about 11, 12 years ago, they were really hip. And so I was starring next to them. And then I used that commercial to then get leverage for a better agent that I could now shop around. Be like, oh, I don't know if you've seen that national commercial that I got by myself. And the fourth way that you can get an agent is by doing a showcase. I know that there's no live showcases happening, but there are virtual ones. I know that this is a good plan because my manager went to one recently and she signed somebody. So now is the time to put yourself out there, get into some classes, especially ones that end with a showcase. Casting director workshop companies like One-on-One, NYC is really awesome. They also do LA. I mean, how awesome would it feel if you had like a bidding war of like, which agent should I choose? That'd be nice. And now it's time for your PSA announcement. If you are getting any value from this episode of Kristen Keeps It Real, go ahead and hit that like button. Also, hit the subscribe button and comment if there's anything that you thought was helpful or if you want to know more information. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And the fifth way that you can get an agent is by using Actors Access Talent Link. It's a $35 fee for the month, and they basically put out a memo to all the agents and the managers in that area that are looking for someone like you, and then they come to you with the offer to sign you. Now, I personally haven't done this myself, but I do know somebody who did do it, and she found an agent within the month of this whole program. So I would say it was $35 well spent. Anyway, that's it for Kristen Keeps It Real. Want more acting tips? I got you. Tune in next week and I'll bring you another episode of Kristen Keeps It Real.